mics are all tested. There's a slight hum on mic 1, but it's the processor, and that's an old processor that's starting to die, I think. So we probably can replace that processor and fix that problem. We have the phones tested, and those are all working. The bus minuses are working for both the phones, and the bypass switch is also working. So I can shut these off, and we can switch over to Audition here. The second to last thing we need to do in here, I guess, is to get our production screens going. We need to get our Adobe Audition audio going, and we need to get our Audio Vault audio going. So we're going to do the Audio Vault first, and that's going to be on these 2 pots. So this is going to be our split screen top, and this will be our split screen bottom. And right now they're not defined as anything. Again, they're just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so what we got to do right now, they are running on KROE AV sound card, which is a physical sound card in the KROE AV machine. We could keep it that way, but in order to do that, I've got to route ins and outs from both of these decks into the WheatNet blades, and that ties up 2 stereo inputs and 2 stereo outputs. If I do it with KROE VM, it's all software. There's no wiring involved, and so it doesn't tie up any ins or outs other than the Audition, which is already going into the blade. So what we got to do is change what these are using, and I've already looked at our driver. So let's configure, where's my watchdog? Here we go. Let's configure this. I've already looked at the driver to see what we can use, and it actually just happens to be the same numbers, just VM instead of AV on the blade. So we need to go to our record dual top screen and change that from KROE AV13 to KROE VM13. And then we got to change our play dual bottom to KROE VM19. So if I save that, and then we flip over here, make sure we're not actually recording anything over here that is needed, and we're not. Let's just go ahead and shut this down. And when it reloads, it should load using the VM channels instead of the AV channels. So now, to get these to show up here, we just need to select those as sources. So if we take our first one here, we're going to go ahead and select that to be KROE VM13. And we're going to go ahead and take that. And then we're going to set this one to KROE VM19. And we're going to take that. Now, if we pop this up in Audition and we load a test file into our deck, we should have audio. And we do. Okay. And if we do the same thing down here, and we play back on the other pot here. Oh, I gotta be up in Audition. There we go. All right, and that was all done in software. No wiring needed to assign those to the board. So one last thing to do. Obviously, KROE VM13 and KROE VM19 are not very friendly names for the users. So we will change that in the blade to something that makes a little more sense. And what we need to do is we need to rename this source from KROE VM13 to play dual top. Even that's not all that friendly, but for right now we'll call it that. And then VM19, we'll call it KROE. Actually, it's play dual bottom and record dual top. Okay, so now if we go back into the studio, those pots should be labeled record dual top and play dual bottom. And they are. All right, after a full day of RF troubleshooting in this studio, we have clean audio in here, and I installed a new switch here. What this switch does is it changes the monitors in this room from KWYO control room, which is where it is right now, to KROE studio. And that way, the mics will mute properly in here when they're turned on in there. Turning on the mics in there will mute these monitors. And we'll confirm that right now. If we turn on the talk guest mic and come into here, the monitors are muted. Because otherwise, if we don't do that, the monitors won't mute and you'll get feedback. It also allows the talkback to work between the rooms. So that switch is vital for Public Pulse.